Okay, so we're on the bottom line here, and we're going through all the different threads that were in the Beis Hamikdash. Right, so it says miil shnei amasa. Right, so the miil, the coat or the robe of the kohen gadol was 12 minalan. How do we know? Tichsiv asisas miil ha'ephod, and you make the miil from the ephod, right? And the reason why it's called the miil of the ephod, it's not the ephod, it's the miil of the ephod, but they were tied together. So mamela, that's why it's called the miil of the ephod, right? So klal, tcheles, klal. So Rashi says klal is like, I don't know exactly what kind of limud this is. Is klal is gedil. Gedil means like twisted. So even though it says klal tcheles, what Rashi is saying, it means gedil. The yol of tcheles mi paroiches, and the mamela we learn out tcheles from paroiches, right? Kamala halon shisha, just like over there, by the paroiches. Each thread is made out of 6, right? Which we said before. Afkan shisha, so too, but a miil, it's also 6. So the Gemara asks, "V'neilef mishula v'rimaydav." Why don't we learn it out from the bottom of the miil and the pomegranates, right? Like we said yesterday, the kohen had them sewn onto the bottom. And malahalon shmoina, just like there, it's 8, which we said yesterday also. So afkan shmoina. So too here is also 8. So my answer is no. Done in kli mi kli, ain't done a kli mi tachshit kli. We're rather done a kli from a kli, right? Which is paroiches is a kli, and miil is a kli, and the pomegranates on the bottom is a tachshit of a kli. So we'd rather done done a kli mi kli, ain't done a kli mi tachshit kli. We'd rather learn how to kli from a kli than from a tachshit of a kli. So Gemara says the adarabah, done in gufay me gufay. Let's learn out something that's on the body, right? I don't know, it doesn't mean on the body. I'm sorry, gufay meaning on the guf of the robe. Learn out the robe from something that's attached to the robe. They ain't done in gufay me alma, and don't learn out gufay from me alma from someplace else, from the paroiches. Meaning, stick to the robe. Better to learn out that way. So the Gemara says a different teretz. Hanu da'amrinon, the shar begodim. That's what we said. That is one of the extra sheish. Word sheish is for other begodim. Shaloi nemer ben sheish. It's for the other begodim that doesn't say sheish. Therefore, that's how we know that it's sheish. That it's 6 because it's learned out from the extra word of sheish. Fine. Paroiches esen va'arba. So the paroiches has 24. Dalir the shisa. 4, right, is each one was made out of 6. So what's 6 times 4? 24. And leitina v'leitaina, and you can't judge it, and there's no judgment about it. There's nothing to talk about. There's no questions to be asked. It's 4 strings times 6, right? And there's nothing to ask. Right, it's 4 types of thread. Each thread made out of 6 strings. Okay. Choshen ve'ephod, Esther Mishmana said the Choshen and the ephod, that was made out of 28 ropes. Not ropes. I keep saying ropes.
Threads.
So we're looking for threads. Thank you, threads.
Right.
So minalan. How do we know that? Tichsiv. Vasisa Choshen mishpat masa Choshen kamasa ephod tasena. And you make a Choshen mishpat that's done by workers.
Who made these threads? Who made this?
Who made it?
Who was the one that was weaving all these threads?
Didn't we say that the women wove?
I don't know. Possible, yeah.
Okay.
I thought we said someplace that the woman.
We had
the
in the
woman wove.
Chumash.
That was the ureas.
I mean, but they didn't weave these. So who did it? To Levium?
Anyone, cognitive life. The women had to do the weaving on the serum.
Right.
They just did those. The one that was on the live seer.
I don't know. So I don't know who did it. Maybe I don't know. Yeah. Okay. So anyways, the Chsiva sista Choshen mishpat maseh Choshen k'maaseh eifet hasena zav tcheles v'argamon v'tila shani v'sheish mashzor. Yeah, so arba the shisa. So you have 4 types of string that each one was made out of 6. Right? That's what she says. So that makes Esim Arba. Zav Arba, and then there were four strings of gold, right? In there. So that's 4 plus 24 makes Esim V'Timnaya, that makes 28. So when it says Zav Nami Shisha, maybe the gold strings are also 6. Why are we saying that the gold strings only 4? So Amar Bar Yaakov, Amar Krov, the Kitzetz Pesilim, and you should cut the strands, the ropes. Psil psilim hare kan dalet. So you have psil, and then it's plural. That gives you 4, right? So I'm sorry. Psilim tells you 2 because psilim is lashon rabim. Rabim is 2, and then you're supposed to cut them. So when you cut 2 strings, that makes 4. So the gold strings are 4. So hare kandal. So basically, what comes out by the Choshen ephod is that it's made out of 6. It's made out of 6, right? It's 4 strands made out of each one made out of 6, and the gold is made out of 4. Fine. Okay. Rav Ashi has a different pshat. Omar kro lasois b'soichat tcheles b'soich argamon. And you're supposed to make the gold, put it into the tcheles and the argamon. Right? So how should you do it? Nevid arba, the tray. So if you're going to take 4 sets of 2 gold, havalahu timnaya, so that's 8. Nevid trade the tray. So what are you going to do? Make 2 of 2. Right? Vitray the chadhu, and then make 1 set of 1. I'm sorry, 2 sets of 1 gold. And the problem is, like we had yesterday also, it says vasisa shiu kolasi yosef shavas. It tells you that they all should be equal. So if you're going to make the right amount of strands, and you're going to have 2 that are made out of 2 and 2 that are made out of 1. So mamela, it's not going to be even. So therefore, it doesn't work. Yeah. Okay. So that's the cheshbon pretty much with the strands. So Amar Rachav now new Gemara. Amar Rachav Amar Rav Yehuda. Hamakareya big day kahuna loika. If somebody tears a big day kahuna, he gets malchus. Shenemar loy yikareya. Don't tear it. Maskefler of Rav Achabar Yaakov. So Rav Achabar Yaakov says v'dilma hachi kamer. Maybe the passuk doesn't mean to tell you that you're tearing, that you shouldn't tear it. Hachi kamer Rachmana nevid la safa. Maybe it means to make a lip on it, right? Make a hem on it so that it doesn't get torn. Maybe it's not an isser if you tear it. It's just telling you a preventative measure. Sew it up on the edge so that it doesn't tear. So Gemara says, "Miksiv shaloyi kareya." Does the passuk say that it shouldn't get torn? The passuk says, "Don't tear it." So how can you say that it's preventative? It tells you don't tear. Yeah.
Is this a Greek sieve thing? Lo yikareya means it should not be torn. Lo yikra means he should not tear it.
No, but I think it's she. I thought the Gemara is going with the she. She
What do you
lo
mean?
yikareya.
I mean, it says Masi oirik fit achra yeyeloi lo yikareya. It should not be torn.
Right.
That's the kri. The ksiv is yikra.
Right.
Is the kri
Is that what
yikra?
it's saying? The kri is what?
The kri is not yikareya?
Yikareya. The ksiv is yikra. I don't know. That's why I read the Gemara.
Same spelling.
He's right, but the kasha was, it says lo yikareya. So how can you tell me he gets malchus for ripping it? We say that, how do you read it? Lo yikareya, it should not be ripped, meaning make a hem. And then the answer is miksiv shelo yikareya. It's the ksiv is yikra.
No, I didn't learn it like that. I learned that it didn't say shelo yikareya. It just says that shelo yikra. Don't tear it. I think so.
Oh, because of the shin. That's how it tells you that.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
good. Yeah.
Yeah, okay, bye. So if somebody shakes off the choshen from the ephod, he makes it loose. And somebody takes, we had this a bunch of blood ago. If you remove the Aron had two poles that they carried the Aron with, right? So if you remove that, so taking the choshen off the ephod, right? The choshen is the, what do you call it? The breastplate, right? And you took off the arms of the Aron, like you're going to get malka shenem lo yizach v'lo yasuru. Don't remove it, and don't. They both mean they're sort of, they both mean don't remove it. So maskol rachab Yaakov v'dilma ki kamer rachmana chatkinu v'avdinu shapir. So when the Torah says make it tight, right? V'avdinu that's good. They shelo yizach v'lo yasuru, so that it doesn't get torn, that it doesn't get removed. Meaning, the point the Gemara is saying the same kasha as before. Maybe it's not saying don't remove it; it's saying make it very tight so that it doesn't get ruined. So our answer is miksiv shaloi yizach v'shaloi yisuru. Again, the same teretz. Does it say that tighten it so that it doesn't get removed? It doesn't say that. It just says don't remove it. So that's what it means. Rabbi Yosef Chanina Rami. He has to steer. It says in the tabais, in the rings of the Aron, the badim, that's the arms. They should be there and they shouldn't be removed. That's one passuk. And you should put the badav, the arms, into the rings. Right? So haketzad. So what? How do you? So basically, one passuk is mashma that you keep putting in the arms back and forth, and the other pasuk says no, they should stay in there. So the Gemara answers misparkin vein nishpat, and what it means is that they're loose, but they don't come totally out, right? From the word shmita, that they don't come totally out. Meaning you can move the arms of the Aron back and forth, but they don't come out. Tanami hachi, Bryce like this, but tabayis Aron you are badim. The tabayis of Aron they'll be badim. Yachol lo use doesn't mean mekayman. So you would think that you shouldn't move them at all. It says they should put the arms into the rings. Right? And if it would just say just put in the arms into the rings, so you think you should put it in and take it out, meaning remove it totally. They should be in the rings. Okay, it's on misparkin vein nishmatim. What it means is that they can be loose, but you don't remove them totally. So it's just another version of the brisa, of the way we mataritz the brisa. Yeah. Okay. So Amar Rabbi Chama Rabbi Chanina, Ma'idich Siv. What's the pshat? It says in the passuk Atze Shitim Amdim that the wood, right, the wood that they made of the Atze Shitim, the cedar wood, is Amdim, it's standing, right, of the Mishkan. Sha'imdim derech Gidilasan, that they grow, that they put them the way they grow, meaning you would cut the tree the way it grows. There's a chumrah by a sukkah to put on. I think Taisus brings it that the way when you make the wood of your sukkah, it should also be like this. That should be like the wood. It should be facing up the way it is, as if the way the tree grew, right? Which is also learned out why you're supposed to hold the lulav and esrog the way we do, because you're supposed to hold it derech yedilasa, right? The way it grew. So the same thing, they used to, the wood in the Mishkan, they used the way it grew. Davar acher, Amdim, what does Amdim mean? It doesn't mean that they put it like that. It means Shemamidin is tzfuyin, they hold up the gold, right? Because they were all lined with gold, the wood. So you can't have something lined with gold if you don't, what's holding up the gold? What's holding up the gold is the wood. Davar acher, a third pshat. Amdim shematimer avad sivran ubatas chuyan. So you would think that that the hope and what we're looking forward to is batal, right? Meaning the Mishkan is meant to be a place that gives Klal Yisrael hope. We could do tshuva, etc., etc. So you would think that it's batal because we no longer have the Mishkan or the Beis Hamikdash. Tamalaimer Amdim. So whenever it says Amdim, Sha'aynim la'aylam la'aylam, that it still works for us, right? It's still there, meaning don't think that the Mishkan is destroyed. It's there somewhere. Wherever it is, it's not destroyed. Right? It's forever. It's not decayed and it's not destroyed.
The whole Mishkan was Nignaz?
I don't know. Sounds like it.
Looks like it from Rashi, but I've never heard of this. The whole Mishkan?
Yeah, that's what you have to say, right?
Maybe it means the inside Mishkan.
Or maybe just the walls.
Well, because already in Mishkan Shiloh, they didn't use the walls from the Mishkan. It was stone. So the first Mishkan, the Mishkan of the Midbar, I guess they were Nignas, they were Gainas, the Kroshim, the Amudim, the bits they didn't use for the new Mishkan.
Right.
Wow.
Yeah, okay, that's it. Right. So Rabbi Chanina, now we get into a Gadata. So Rabbi Chanina, Ma'idich Siv, what does it mean in passuk as big day hasrod, the begodim of the srod, the shareis b'kodesh. The srod is the how do you call it? When they were moving the Mishkan, we had this before. They put the kalim of the Mishkan into cases, right, so that they don't get ruined. That's the big day hasrod. So it says as big day hasrod l'shareis b'kodesh to work in the kodesh. On Tom and Beis. The Gemara says Umale big day kahuna. If it wouldn't be for the big day kahuna, nobody will escape from the enemies of klal. So whenever it says this lashon misanei shel yisroel, we'll have it further on the Amud also. That tells you that it's really referring to klal. So we just don't want to say that nobody from klal will escape. So what it says is there's going to be nothing left of the enemies of klal Yisrael, meaning meaning that the begodim of the kohanim, when they do the avodah, is what saves klal Yisrael, right? So according to the way Rashi understands, it's not actually anything about the begodim. It's just that since the kohanim are wearing the begodim when they bring the karbonos, that's mechaper on klal Yisrael. Yeah, Rav Shmuel Nachmani Amar Devei Rav Shimon Tana. He said that Devei Rav Shimon learned begodim shegarden oisan kibriyasim mikilein. It's begodim that when you take them off the loom that they wove them on, they were ready to be worn. Meaning it was like it's like the original instant clothing that's ready. It's custom made, custom made right off the loom. Nothing. You had to make you didn't have to make any alterations. So that's what it means. But there is a little bit left over. What does that mean? Those are the things that you sew on, meaning most of the clothing is woven, but there is a little part of it that gets sewn on. So so they asked the kasha. Big day kahuna ain't nice and maisa machat. The big day kahuna you don't use; they're not done by sewing. Elam maisa oirig, they're done with weaving. Shenemer maisa oirig, it says that they're woven, so it says that they're not sewn. We just got finished saying that part of the kohanim's clothing gets sewn, and here we have a brisa that says that it doesn't get sewn. Right? It's only woven. It has to do with the arms, right? The sleeves. The Tanya base yad shel big day kahuna. The sleeves of the big day kahuna nereges b'fnei atzma. They get woven by themselves when it's vegas ima beged, and then they attach it to the rest of the clothing by sewing it. Umagas at pisas hayad, and the sleeve goes all the way to the palm of the hand. I don't know. Anybody see why it would go to the palm of the hand? Why would it have to go so far down?
That's the Rambam. That's the Rambam. A Talmud Chacham walks like that, with his sleeve down to his palm and the length of the beggar down to his ankles.
Oh, I hear, but wouldn't it be a chatzitza? Is that a chatzitza? Or we consider
They're doing what? You don't know. So when they held the carbon, the sleeve was up higher. Then when they walked around, it was down there. The Rebbes don't hold the bech in their sleeve, right?
Right. I hear. I don't know. I guess that's what you have to say. It's an interesting thing that the sleeves. So it comes out that the sleeves are independently woven and then sewn on. That's how we answer the stealer. Fine. Next, Amar of Rachav Amar of Yehuda Shalish Aronis also Betzalel. Betzalel, who built the Mishkan, made three boxes for the Aron. Emtzai Shal Eitz Tisha. The middle box was 9 tfachim high, made out of wood. Pnimi, the inner box, Shal Zav, was Shmaina, was 8. What do you call these things? That you pile the boxes, one fits inside the other, right? And Chitza, and the outer one was Asaru Mashu, was the 10 and change. So Gemara asks, Vatanya Acharos Mashu was 11 and change. Like Kasha, Hakamadama, Yesh Ba'avyoy Tefach, Hakamadama, Ein Ba'avyoy Tefach. There's a machlokes whether the base of the Aron had a tefach on it, and you have to add that tefach to all these measurements, right? So the first pshat does not hold it. There's no tefach there, so you don't add it on to the measurements. And the second one says there is a tefach, so therefore you do add it on. Yeah,
I don't understand. With the kalim of the base of the Mishkan, the Beis Hamikdash, what Amud did they use?
That was a whole machlokes, right? You had the Rishalmi.
Didn't we say 6?
There was one set of it, then it changed, right?
Yeah, but the kalim, everyone was masking in the end. It was 6 tefachim. No, the question was the walls and the Mizbeach. I thought we said 6.
I don't remember what we said. I know we adjusted
6, an am and a half is going to be 9. So is he saying that the ikir was the middle one? The middle, an am and a half is the height of the Ari. It's 2.5 by an am and a half by an am and a half. There were no whole measures.
Right. Yeah,
so an am and a half is either 9 or if they used 5, 7.5.
I hear. I don't know. I'm not sure. Not sure. I hear. And the whole Aron thing didn't take up any space. So what's I'm saying? If you really want to, right? You can go with that. So I mean, yeah. Anyway, Zir.
There's a lot of measurement on it. I'm saying, even though it didn't take.
That's true. And a
make it.
Yeah. So to go. So okay. So my mashu. So what is the mashu? What's the mashu extra? Zir. That's the crown, right? So there was a crown going around the top of the Aron. So Rabbi Yochanan, Shloisha Zirim hein that there's 3 crowns. Shal Mizbeach, v'shal Aron, v'shal Shulchan. The Mizbeach, and for the Aron and the Shulchan. Shal Mizbeach, Zacha Aron, v'notlu. Aron was Zacha in the crown and the Mizbeach, obviously, because they did the karbanas, and they took the schusim. Shal Shulchan, Zacha David, v'notlu. Shulchan, David HaMelech took it, because the Shulchan has to do with, Rashi says, has to do with kingship. So, right, so it has to do with, so that's David HaMelech. Shal Aron, but the Aron, Adayin Munachu, it's still placed there. Whoever wants to take it should come and take it. So you're gonna say, okay, so Shema Tamer Pachasu, if that's the case, then it must be the least of the crowns. If nobody claimed it, right? So Tamalaymer, which is an interesting way to learn this. Tamalaymer, the passuk says, "Be melachim yemloichu." Through me, kings are going to become kings. So what Rashi says is that the person who makes the king is more chashuv than the king, right? So whoever's going to make the Aron, right? So I mean, it's a little, yes. I mean, the Torah that's making the kings, then that's more chashuv than the king itself. Yeah. And that's what the Aron is representing.
We're touching Zeir Mamish as a Kesser. So these are the 3 Ksarim we talk about in Avos: Kesser Kuna, Kesser Malchus, and Kesser Torah.
Yeah, that's 100%. Right. That's what I think. Yeah, that's a good point, Taka. That's a good point. That's it is. Yeah. So anyway, so that's why the Kesser of Torah, the Aron, is going to be more chashuv, because those that learn are the ones that are going to create it. Fine. Rabbi Yochanan Rami Ksiv Zer. Here's a Korean Ksiv. Right here it says, I'm sorry, Zar, right, which is Zar means strange, but Karinon Zir. But we read it Zeir, right, which is a crown. So Zacha Nasis Loi Zeir. If you're Zaycha, then meaning if you're Zaycha to learn Torah, Rashi says, then it becomes a crown. Loizacha, but if you're not deserving of it, so then zara heimenu, then it's going to be zara, strange from him. Meaning, Rashi says he's going to be forgotten. So if you make yourself right to learn Torah, then it's going to be part of you. If not, it's going to be forgotten. So that's the cream the ksiv. Fine. Rav Yochanan Rami. Rav Yochanan has the steer ksiv asisa l'cha Aron ha'etz. It says you should make an Aron uksiv va'asu Aron etz shטים in plural, and they made it. So who made it? Moshe. It says va'asisa l'cha Aron etz. You should make yourself an Aron etz. That's Matul Moshe. And then it says va'asu Aron etz shטים, and they made an atzei shטים. Right. So what is it? Mikan l'talmud chacham shebnei ira mitzuvan lasis lemelachtai. From this we see that the Talmud Chacham is the city is supposed to do the malacha for the Talmud Chacham. Meaning Moshe Rabbeinu was supposed to make it, and the tzibur made it for Moshe Rabbeinu so he could sit and learn. Right? So Mamela, the tzibur, if they want a Talmud Chacham to be available and to learn, so then they have to support him. Fine. And it should be inside and outside should be covered with gold. Amar Rava, call Talmud Chacham shein toichei kibaroi. Any Talmud Chacham whose inside is not like his outside, and a Talmud Chacham, he's not considered a Talmud Chacham. Meaning you got to be legit, no faking. So Amar Abaye, v'yitem Rabba Barula, Nikra Nisav is considered toiv, disgusting. Shenemar, and toiv is pretty strong word, right? Toiv is it's an abomination, right? Shenemar, because it says Afki Nisav v'nelach ish shaisa kamayim avla. It's disgusting and dirty. Somebody who drinks like water, avla. He drinks bad things like water. Yeah. So Amar Rav Shmuel bar Nachmani, Amar Rav Yonasan, lama zem mechir biyad ksil liknos chachma belev ayin. So what does it mean that why? That means why do you have mechir means merchandise or money really in the hand of a fool in order to buy chachma, but he doesn't even have a heart. Meaning, what's going on? That you have people that end up learning, but they don't have any heart. I'm sorry. Woe is to the haters of Talmidei Chacham, which again means Talmidei Chachamim. Who are Isaac and Torah, and they don't have Yiras Shamayim. This is basically people that learn for what they call it, the intellectual pursuit. So if somebody who's just learning for the intellectual pursuit, and he's not learning because of Yiras Shamayim, then it's bad. Machras Rav Yana. So Rav Yana called out Chaval al delesle darsa. It's Chaval. It's too bad. Somebody who has no place to live, but he makes a gate for his place that he lives. Meaning the guy's busy building a gate, but he has no. Oh, so that's a big kasha, right? That's a big kasha. So I think the passuk shot. He said, "Oh, so Reben is asking that. What about mitoy shaloi lishma ba lishma? Meaning we're saying you have to learn the Torah lishma.
Yeah.
But does that mean let's say a guy's not learning a lishma, but at least
said he's going
should
for intellectual pursuits. So no, but it'll wear off and it'll go into him and it'll be lishma. He starts out with that intellectual pursuit, and it becomes lishma.
You hope, right? You hope.
Okay, yeah, we hope. I'm just saying, but that's the concept.
It's a kasha. Yeah, I saw that some of the Mefarshim asked this kasha. I'm not remembering now what the teretz was. I think it could be where. Go ahead.
No, if he's too serious, he ain't gonna move on. He can't be. He's too serious. This fellow. He's learning for intellectual pursuit. He's not gonna get it.
Right. I don't know, man. Unless they're doing it bedafka, maybe somebody bedafka.
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask.
It could be. It could be maybe somebody that's learning just to fight. We always have that. You don't learn just to fight, to be a contrarian.
Maybe, or he's learning to just get to get
just
to people.
To get the people. Yeah, I'm going to show them.
Right.
I think it's maybe more than that even. The Seneim shel Yisroel means Yisroel, klal Yisroel. Seneim shel Talmidei Chachamim should mean Talmidei Chachamim. But how do you call someone like this a Talmid Chacham? He's not a Talmud
Why
Chacham.
not?
He has no
Why
Yiras
not?
Shemayim. It's not a
He's
Talmud
like
Chacham.
you mean you're saying he's like a computer. He knows all the. He's
Yeah,
like the
it's not a
Google
Talmud
Hadar.
Chacham.
He's the Google Hadar.
Yeah, Elamai. He calls himself a Talmud Chacham. He holds of himself. He asked me your shilas. I know it all. That kind of person, yeah. That's there's no Shalei Lishma Ba Lishma. He made himself something he's not. Gemara says you should always learn Lishma. If you can't, so at least learn Shalei Lishma. We talk Shalei Lishma Ba Lishma. This guy's beyond all
Right.
of that. He calls himself a Talmud Chacham.
Yeah, I know. And why? You could have told me the Chachamim that are doing it for the wrong reasons, no?
Most of them at least have some kind of Yiras Shemayim. This Gemara says he has no Yiras Shemayim. He has nothing.
Yeah. I don't know. I hear. I saw a teretz. I don't remember now what it is, but I'll try Belinada to look. So, anyways, so Rabbi Yannai's mashal was that he has a house. He's building a fence around his house, but he's got no house. There's nobody home, right? Fine. So Amr Lahu, Rav Rabbanon, right? That's what we're up to. Yeah. But Matusa Minaichu, he says, please, I beg from you, Loisirsun Tarti Gehenim, don't get two Gehenims. Yeah. Meaning, what's the two Gehenims? Rashi says. So you're gonna be busy learning in this world. So you're sacrificing on the Olam Haba, on the Olam Hazeh. And if you're not Makayim the Torah, then you're not gonna get the Olam Haba. Right? Can you hear me? Can Adam hear me, or did I freeze?
No, we hear
I
you.
can.
You're good. You're good.
Okay, because it seems like everybody froze. Okay. Anyways, he's saying, you're gonna get Gehenim in this world and the next world, because you don't have this world because you learned, and you're gonna get Gehenim in the next world because you didn't implement what you learned. Yeah, some Rabbi Shimon Levi,
That's right. Oh.
Yeah, go ahead.
What does that mean? You don't know have Alam Hazak because you're learning? That's carried from the Reb Aron's Vart.
Right, that is fakir for Reb Aron's Vart. Yes, you're right. Right. You know what? Everybody know what he's talking about. Reb Aron, say it over. Say it.
Reb Aron said, he says, Mela, I have a better Olam Haba than somebody who never learned. And we understand that. I get a better, if somebody's not firm, whatever, I have a better Olam Haba than him. But I also have a better Olam Hazard than him, because if he never learned the Taisus, so what kind of Olam Hazard did he have? So,
Right.
it's a,
Right.
like
You
we're saying,
didn't have the
forget from the Vart.
Right. There, you're right.
I think Reb Aron was Mekayim what Rav is saying. That's why.
I would hope, right? But it's an interesting thing, because Reb Aron was just trying to say that he gets such a geschmack out of learning.
Yeah.
Right. But this is talking about it's very nice you're sitting and learning, but that means you're not going to the Mets game. You're not making minyanim in City Field. Is that right? You're not going to the barbecues. You're not doing it. You're learning, but you don't end up doing anything with the learning. So you lost out on that too. Yeah. Okay. But Reb Aron held it. That's okay. Yeah. Anyways, so then weiter. So Rabbi Shimon le maitis b'zayis Torah shir sam Moshe. This is the Torah that Moshe placed. Zacha naasis loy Sam Chaim. Now that's also Sam is the place with a sin. Here we're saying Sam is with a Samach, which is interchangeable, right? In Eishes Chayil, no, is it? No, not Ashri. One of them. We replace the sin with the Samach, whatever it is. So if he's Zaycha Nasas le Samach Chaim, it's considered a drug to keep him alive. Loi Zacha. Nasas like Sama Misa becomes a Sama Misa. Right? Yeah. So that's what it is. That's a meaning that's a riot where people say sit and learn, you'll get better. From here, that's what it sounds like. I don't know, I'm not sure if this Sam means a physical drug or it means a spiritual drug. I'm not sure. Right? The uman la sama dechaya, right? When you use the Torah as an uman, as a worker, then it's a sama dechaya. It's a drug for life. The loy uman la sama the maisa. And if you don't use it properly, then it can be a drug for death. Fine. Yeah.
You're touching uman as an uman, a worker, or oimein, like emuna. Oimein as adasa.
No, I know. I learned it as uman as a worker.
It works both ways, I think. If you
Yeah,
believe in
so
what
say-
you're learning,
Say it over in your shul on Shabbos, okay? We're trying to finish over here.
but you don't like learning? Well, all of a sudden, what?
No, you're making a drush like that. Save that drush for Shabbos. That's all. It's fine.
He's saying, meaning what Rabbaran means to say is that you're taking uman means to learn how to learn the Torah, to work it properly. You're saying it has to do with emunah, like a spiritual.
That's the only time I know this word is found in the passuk is oimein as adasa. That's from emuna, not work.
I hear, but that's if you, okay. We're having difficulties in the whole spelling matziv tonight, Gershon. Yeah. Okay, weiter. Samer Rav Shmuel bar Nachmani, Rav Yonasan, Rami Yestasir Ksipaku de Hashem Yishar Mesamchei Lev. Right, the mitzvahs of the Torah make you happy. Ruksiv, and it says Imras Hashem Tzrufa. Zach, right? Imras Hashem Tzrufa. Tzrufa is a lashon of when you take metal and you melt it down. So Zacha Misamachta. With your Zaycha, it makes you happy. The Torah makes you happy. Loi Zacha, but if you're not Zaycha, Tzarfasai, it will melt you down. Now, I think that's probably right there should be the description of our school system, right? If you're good and you understand the learning, it makes the kids happy. If you're not good in learning, it's gonna melt you right down. Yeah? No? That's my inspirational word for tonight.
Be careful.
Yeah.
Aaron's going to say you're getting involved with NCSY, Reb Yaakov.
I hear that.
Be careful.
I don't know.
Here it comes.
Yeah.
Better that than him telling you to go say it over by his drasha.
Mr. Scott, I have more respect for Yaakov than to think he's getting involved with NCSY.
Oh, you left yourself open to that one. Yeah. But I am going to be in the summer camp, so I don't know where that falls. Yeah. Okay, yeah. Rish Lakish Omar, you hear me? Can you hear me? The island froze again. Yeah, okay.
We
Rish
hear
Lakish
you.
Omar.
Yes.
Yeah.
Sorry. I'm parked in the Palisades Mall, and my kids ran into Target while I'm up on the way upstate. So that's so I got a few more minutes because they close in 5 minutes. So
for once, you have worse reception than I do.
Yeah. Yes, I apologize. Fine. So Reish Lakish Omar, Miguvi de Kronafka, that you learn it from the actual passuk, meaning you don't need to have the two different pasukim. It says Zacha Tzarfasai. If he's Zaycha, it'll form him. It'll what you do with the metal for life. Loi Zacha Tzarfei Lemisa, then it's going to melt him down for death. Yeah, fine. No, the pasuk here is Hashem Tahira Medes Lad. The year of Hashem is Tar and it's forever. Amar of Chanina Zeh Loy Metara B'Tahara. That's somebody who learns Torah B'Tahara. Ma'hi Naisi Isha V'Achagach Loy Metara. You're supposed to get married and then you learn Torah. Right? That's fakert from our system. Again, fakert from our system.
This is why BMG is against the Daf.
Probably.
Who?
But
BMG doesn't like the Daf.
BMG.
I have to tell you, I was listening to on my way in yesterday. I was listening to a shir about Rabbi Yehuda Chassid, the Takanas. So the whole issue of marrying a daughter-in-law with the same name as the mother-in-law. So he was a Chassidish Magashir. He said, all this stuff is fine as long as the bacher is less than 20. Once a bacher is over 20, he's already 18. I'm sorry, it says maybe push it to 20. Once he's over that, you let them marry whoever because you got to get married. That's what he was saying. I never heard that one before, right? That's a shoo, like that's you're just doing away with Rabbi Yehuda Chassid, and this guy was very pro Rabbi Yehuda. He's like, oh no, you mamash over Yisurim if you're not. So, okay, whatever. It was an interesting thing. Fine. Eidas Hashem Nemana, right? Another song of the Daf. Eidas Hashem Nemana. So the Eidas of Hashem is trustworthy, meaning you can trust it. Amar Rav Chiya bar Rava, Nemana he lahayed b'laim da. It's Neman, right? That it could say Eidas on those that learn. Yeah. Meaning they'll be able to tell you who learned legit, who didn't learn legit. Okay, that's the end of the Torah part of the Limud Torah part of Gemara. Then now the Gemara goes back to the Mishkan. Maisa Roikim. So he says it's a Maisa of embroider. Yeah. Maisa Choshen. It means that it's a Maisa of somebody who actually thought about it. Aron, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, good. Sorry. So Maisa Roikim, that it's done with well, you're on the phone, so maybe that everybody else that's on the video could
Oh,
Yes, yes, we
Yeah,
hear you
we
fine.
got it.
Yeah, we hear everything.
Okay, I'm
We hear
sorry.
everything.
I'm sorry. Just all the faces froze. So
No, we
Maisa
hear everything.
Roikim. Okay, I'm sorry. I apologize. Good. Maisa Roikim means it's somebody who design Roikim means to weave it, and then Maisa Choshev means it's work of something that was complicated. Some Rabbi Lazar. So what Rabbi Lazar said. Sheroikmin b'makam shechoshven. What they do is they sew it, not sew it, they weave it in the place where they wrote it down, where they thought about it. Meaning they put down the design and they right. They put down the design and then it goes from there. Naftali, in your Mishkan book, if you're on there, Naftali, your Mishkan book has good pictures about
I'm
this.
here. Should I get
Yeah,
it?
your Mishkan book. No, you don't have to get it. You can post it later on the chat. Tana Mishmei de Reb Nechemya. Roikim Maisa Machat. Roikim is needle, used as the needles, sewing, and Lefikach, and therefore parts of Echad Choshev. There was one. I'm sorry, parts of Echad. Lefikach parts of Echad. So that was one face. Choshev Maisa Oireg, and then when they thought about it to make something more complicated with weaving, the fikach shnei partzuf, and then had two faces, meaning on either side, it was like a shtickle and nace, on either side of the what do you call it? The drapes.
Curtain?
The drapes. Better word. The
Curtain?
drapes. The curtains, yeah, that covered over the walls of the Mishkan. So each one, it had Rashi says it had a lion on one side and an eagle on the other side. Right, because it was two different layers, and they were one right next to each other. So basically, it was some of it was sewn, some of it was woven, and it was sophisticated and a complicated way of drawing these pictures. Okay, we'll stop over here. I apologize if the connection was a shtickle bad.
Shikayah.
Yeah. All
Have
right.
the same
Fine.
starting, Shiyakis.
Thanks a lot. Okay, good to know.
Tsiako,
Yes.
just a quick question. Going back to the Aron, the raya that we bought by Moshe. So I don't understand something. We're bringing a raya that he doesn't have to make the Aron. That they had to support him to make the Aron for him, meaning
he was supposed to make the Aron. What? Yeah.
But he was supposed to make the Aron, and we brought a raya from here. I was looking up. We had the Gemara in Shabbos. We said that Izel Tamachachim Shebnei Yirei Mitzvah Lasses LeMalachte. So therefore, we're bringing a raya that they have to basically take care of his, not be matriach him to go ahead and make the Aron. That it's like support him. Like it's almost like a parnasa thing for him. Right? The Gemara over there in Shabbos says that that he puts aside his his daily stuff and they take care of him. But we're talking about the Aron over here. We're not talking about him going out and making a parnasa. Did I lose him? Oh.
You lost him. He's not there anymore.
He's out, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
The Palisades
Alright.
closed.
Yeah. All
Good
right.
night.
Till tomorrow.
Call to